Hey guys, and welcome to your daily European history video trivia quiz challenge. Guys, I'm so excited for today's quiz because today we are quizzing my favorite part of European history, starting with my favorite event in European history. Today we are quizzing the Religious Wars and the 30 Years' War. By far and away, my favorite thing, and the thing I think I'm most nerdy about in all of European history is the 30 Years' War. Starting with, of course, the Defenestration of Prague, which is legendary in my circles, and unfortunately I won't be thrown out the window. That is right in front of me. Look out the window. Yeah, but the Defenestration of Prague won't be on the quiz because honestly it's too easy. But before we get to that, we have to talk about yesterday's quiz and the answers. So let's go over that pretty briefly. Yesterday's quiz was on the Counter-Reformation in 15.4. We had a very interesting host yesterday. It was me, Max Molgaard, hosting as always, wearing a flamingo shirt that fit very well. Alright, our first question was, the Act of Supremacy was made by what monarch desiring to split from the Roman Catholic Church? He really liked chopping heads, beheading, just killing, hanging, whatever he could do to his wives until they gave him an heir, never realizing that it was probably his fault. The answer there was, of course, the legendary Henry VIII, the Act of Supremacy, splitting off and creating the Anglican Church. So yeah. Our second question was, Ignatius of Loyola founded what Catholic sect famous for their ability to educate? I gave you all a good hint yesterday, talking about how there's a team that is very good at basketball, that we know locally, that was founded by these people, and so that's Gonzaga, were those people, and guess what? The answer was the Jesuits. The Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits that ended up creating a bunch of schools, a bunch of literacy, is a big part of the Counter-Reformation, and really was a big part, all founded by Ignatius of Loyola, a former soldier, general who ended up getting his leg blasted off in some conflict. But yeah. Yep. Alright, our third question was, the Habsburg-Valois Wars were ended by what treaty? This one's pretty straightforward. The treaty was the Treaty of Cambrai-Cambrésis. That's spelled weird, but I'll say it again, the Treaty of Cateau-Cambrésis. And so that's not a major one, but it is kind of interesting, and it's fun to say Cateau-Cambrésis. Alright, our fourth question was, Charles V defeated what Protestant league in 1547? The answer to what Protestant league he defeated was the Schmalkaldic League. And if you need a fun word to just say until it becomes absolutely meaningless while you're sitting at home, Schmalkaldic is a good one. You can just say Schmalkaldic. Yeah. So yeah. The answer to that one was the Schmalkaldic League. And the fifth question, and I'm going to botch this pronunciation, but it's Francisco Jimenez de Cisneros. The leader of the Spanish Inquisition was the Archbishop of what Spanish county? It's also a county in Ohio nowadays. He was the Archbishop of Toledo in Spain. And so, of course, the city in Ohio got the name from that. And they now have a decent minor league baseball team. Not as good as the Dayton Dragons, though. Good Dragons. Alright, okay. I got through that, and now we are to the good stuff. 16.1 and the 30 Years' War packet, all about the religious wars and about the 30 Years' War, defenestrating, 4 phases, all that good stuff, Albrecht von Wallenstein. It's just great stuff. But first, let's go over the rules for those who may be joining us for the first time, because now Mr. Thomas is offering, for those, he will pick a random day, and the person who is the trivia master of the day for that day, then gets a +1 to their core grade, which is a big deal. So everybody get on that and get on here and become the Trivia Master of the Day consistently, and you might just get some good credit and get your Euro grade up, which I know a lot of us need. Alright, let's go over the rules real quick. The rules. This is a 5-question quiz. The questions get harder as we go. Question 1 is the easiest, question 5 is the hardest. This quiz is very hard, I'm not gonna lie, but it's partially from the fact that the 30 Years' War and the religious wars are very intricate, and partially due to the fact that I'm a nerd for the 30 Years' War, and I wanted to get some stuff that I didn't even know on there, and so we could get some good stuff there. All right, our first. So once you have, I'm sorry, I'm not done with the rules. So there's 5 questions. Once you have your answers, put them into your DMs and DM them to me at MaxToytonica to get entered for the Trivia Master of the Day. If you get the most right, the fastest, you will be announced as the Trivia Master of the Day the next day. And I didn't even announce who won who won the last quiz, so I'll announce that right now. The Trivia Master of the Day for yesterday, bet you can't guess it, it was one Ella Sessions. Congratulations, I think that's 5 in a row for Ella. So if you want to get that core credit above Ella, you gotta get in here, and you gotta start quizzing and getting good. All right. So, Trivia Master of the Day, Ella Sessions is the Trivia Master of the Day. And then at the end of the week, there will be a special Saturday show talking about the Trivia Master of the Week and the Trivia Master of the Unit. And that person is a little extra special. Alright, so make sure you DM those answers to me at MaxToytonica. They get harder as we go, so let's get started. Okay, first question in 16.1 and 30 Years' War. I'm really excited right now. 1. What Swedish general helped the side of the Protestants during the 3rd phase of the 30 Years' War? This is the easiest one that I put in there. So this happened during the 3rd phase, the Swedish phase. He's a Swedish general. You gotta always remember the 4 phases of the 30 Years' War. First phase was the Bohemian phase, where the German uprising, defenestration of Prague, all that. Then Ferdinand sent his armies, and Albrecht von Wallenstein basically wrecked everyone. And then the second phase was the Danish phase. The Danish phase where King Christian sent his troops down, and then they got destroyed. Then the French ended up funding the Swedish, and then the Swedish down. Gustavus Adolphus pushed out all the big bad HRE, Holy Roman Empire guys, and Emperor Ferdinand pushed them all out. But then he died, and so it kind of was leveled. And then that was the 3rd phase of the Swedish phase, and then there was the 4th phase, which is the French phase, where France finally actually gets involved. And as I always like to say, it was a war fought between 2 German states that ended up with France winning, which is so awesome. I still love the 30 Years' War. Okay, so talking about the French phase. The French phase is involved in question 2. Question 2, what French cardinal helped steer the 30 Years' War? As an advisor to the king at the time, which, oh geez, I don't know who the king was. It was I think that was when Henry IV, Henry of Navarre, was the king. Came out on top in the War of the Three Henrys. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Thomas. Correct me in the chat. Anyways, help me out. Okay, then we'll go to, so it was a French cardinal. I'll say that again. What French cardinal helped steer the direction of the 30 Years' War? Alright. And then our third question here, talking about France again. What 3 French families were vying for the throne of France during the French Religious Wars? French Religious Wars started with the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre, where basically, well, it didn't start with the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre. It started with an attempted assassination on Catherine de' Medici's daughters, at Catherine de' Medici's daughter's wedding, there was an attempted assassination on Catherine de' Medici's Big Mama. Big Mama's daughter's husband, attempted assassination by the Protestants. Then Catherine de' Medici decided, you know what, I'm going to kill a bunch of Protestants to make people happy, because Big Mama just be like that. And so she killed like 7,000 Huguenots during the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, and then it eventually led to the War of the Three Henrys, vying for the French throne, literally to the death. One of them getting killed by a monk, one of them getting assassinated, and then one of them rising to the top and taking the throne, just marching into Paris. Alright. I know I'm nerding out, I'm sorry. Question 4. This one's kind of hard, but it's a pretty big part of the 30 Years' War. The Peace of Prague in 1635, which was at the very end of the war, started the talks for the Peace of Westphalia, which ended it. So the Peace of Prague in 1635 annulled what Holy Roman edict stating that all Protestants who weren't Lutheran were outlawed. And so this edict, that's not all it said. It also gave a lot more powers to Emperor Ferdinand during the time. And so Ferdinand, the Holy Roman Emperor, had a lot more power to like control the princes under this, but it didn't really get followed because wartime, kind of a civil war. It's pretty cool. Anyways, I'll say that again because that was kind of long. The Peace of Prague in 1635 annulled what Holy Roman edict stating that all Protestants who weren't Lutheran were outlawed. So yeah. You gotta get the edict there, the edict that was repealed by the Peace of Prague. And the edict happened in like 1620 something. Actually, no, I think the edict might have happened before the war. I think it did. Yeah, I'm not sure. Alright, our last final question is with what was happening in England during the time. Alright, so Elizabeth I beheaded. Henry VIII isn't the only one who likes beheadings. Alright, Elizabeth I beheaded what leader in Great Britain because she caught wind that this leader was trying to stage a coup. And so this person was a leader in a very specific part of Great Britain. If I said it, it would give it away, so I'm not going to. But ended up actually beheading this person. But it actually wasn't to great effect, because after Elizabeth I ended up dying, right? She was the Virgin Queen, so she didn't have any heirs, so it ended up actually going to this person's brother, I believe it was their brother, who ended up starting the Stuart line. That should give you a big help there. I'll even give you another hint there, that the Stuart line is the Cromwell sandwich. It's James I, Charles I, Cromwell, Charles II, James II, William and Mary. So yeah, that's the Stuart line, and so it didn't last very long because William and Mary are clever and Dutch. But yeah, apart from that, there was the Dutch Revolt that happened during the time, and there was Elizabeth I helping with the Dutch Revolt, Spanish Armada. Yeah, and so I really love this. I hope you guys enjoyed. This show today, this episode, and I hope you guys did really well on the quiz. I hope you guys are as big a nerds with the 30 Years' War as I am, and so you did just as well as I did. Just keep quizzing, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Good luck.